For a time, we tried to contact him by radio, but no response.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 11 of the Dumb Marks podcast. You know, there's been a lot of talk going around of the best tag team in the world with professional wrestling, and today you get to tune into the best tag team of the podcast world with your boys Chris and Steve riding solo dolo this week after having the other two Marks join us the past couple weeks, Donald and Jason. So, going to bring ton of stuff to you this week. Jam-packed week full of stuff. Chris, how was your week? What went on? What'd you do? What didn't you do?
It was a jam-packed week. Lots of stuff going on. I really enjoyed taking advantage of the nice weather earlier in the week. Got the Christmas decorations up outside. A little early. Didn't plug them in yet, but they're up, and now that's one less thing to do.
Yeah, I think I finally caved into that whole idea. 2020's been such a shitty year with everything that's gone on. I might as well put up some Christmas decorations, get some holiday cheer. You know, I do like sitting in the house with all the lights on. You know, Christmas lights lit up, mantle lit up, railing lit up. Like just sitting there in the dark with the lights on. Mm-hmm. It's just, something about it. So I think we're gonna put that stuff up today after we're done recording the podcast and get into that. So
I think it's called ADD. And you just sit there and look at the lights twinkling.
It's just like, sit down, crack open a beer or whiskey, whatever, a little colder, so maybe get a little amaretto sipper to sip on, and just kick your feet up, relax, and try to enjoy what's left of this shitty year.
Yeah, the sooner this is over, the better.
Unbelievable, right?
And it only got better this week with, unfortunately, a big loss in entertainment world of Alex Trebek.
Yeah, what a living legend, yeah. Right? There's not much to say that hasn't already been said. Everybody from all over and all walks of life have been tweeting out and putting stuff on social media for, thanking Alex Trebek and everything else. The man truly was an icon and a living legend. And, like I said a couple weeks ago, they better protect Betty White.
They absolutely better.
Let her get through this year, please.
Her birthday's in the first week of January.
I know. Just let her get through this year. But yeah, sad loss in the world of entertainment with Alex Trebek.
So you might not even have anybody in mind, but two names that keep coming up that I've read this week are Ken Jennings, to replace Alex. I don't think he's the right choice just because I think he's a little dry. But then the one that I've really been seeing the petition going for is LeVar Burton. And I think that makes an interesting name in the mix.
So to me, I know Jeopardy is an American staple as far as regular televised programming, along with, Wheel of Fortune and some of the other shows. I don't see how you go on without having Alex Trebek.
I think
just like I don't see you doing Wheel of Fortune without Pat Sajak. Like,
yeah.
To me, it's one of those things where it's like it'll never be the same. It'll never be as good. That's I know, like when Johnny Carson went off there, it was like, well, how are you going to replace Johnny Carson? And Jay Leno came in, and it was like, well, how are you going to replace Jay Leno?
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, you're going to have to replace these people as they retire and grow older and everything else. But I don't know, something about Jeopardy, it's just like I'd rather it come to an end. Trebek, one of the things he did, he recorded new episodes, a lot, that'll go through until Christmas.
Okay.
So, as a Christmas present to all of us, we get to watch him all the way through Christmas.
Nice.
Shout out to him. Prayers and thoughts go out to his family and that. And I don't know. We'll see what they do with it. I just don't think it's one of those things that you can watch again and not think, this isn't the same.
Yeah, I mean, because I think the same thing. When Bob Barker passed away, and he retired first, then he passed away. But whenever he left and Drew Carey took over, I was like, I'm not going to watch it the same way. And it really doesn't hit the same way as it did when we were kids.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't. Price is Right was always my favorite growing up. But yeah, like I said, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see with those two. Those two names. Maybe a dark horse candidate comes out of nowhere, but yeah, it's definitely won't be the same after decades and decades of one man holding the fort down and steering the ship.
Yeah. Now, speaking of game shows, ABC has actually ordered Celebrity Wheel of Fortune to its lineup. They already have so many. They brought back Supermarket Sweep this year. They have Card Sharks. They have Match Game and a few others. The one thing I was worried about was who's going to run the show. Because, I wasn't sure if Pat Sajak and Vanna White could join the show, being probably contracted, the syndicated version. Pat Sajak and Vanna White did announce this week that they are going to host it. So, the continuation of their celebrities will be on the show, and they will play for their charities of their choice and potentially win up to $1 million. So I think that's an interesting premise for a show.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I mean, when I think of game shows and celebrities, I automatically think of Hollywood Squares.
Okay.
Or
Pyramid. I think of like Celebrity Family Feud now. That's been popular the past couple years.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I was a fan of game shows growing up. Glad to see them coming back to main network television channels and not just on the game show network.
Yeah.
So we'll see. You got to get creative with your programming now. I know a lot of things get recycled, and we're seeing that with, even with toys and everything else. Like what's old is new again. Mullets are back in. Who would have known that mullets would be back?
I haven't seen that.
Out of all the trends, freaking mullets are back in.
Why?
I don't know. Fanny packs were back.
Sure.
Mullets, it's like let's keep some of that stuff in the past. If we all start wearing denim tuxedos again, I'm out. I'm out. Only in Canada.
I was just gonna say, I think that's still
only in Canada. So, but yeah.
Shout out to our Canadian viewers.
No doubt. Love Canada. Love going up to the falls up there and staying on Clifton Hill. My kids enjoyed that. So, if it wasn't so damn cold, I'd move up there.
Right. I agree. That's my only complaint about it, too.
Yeah.
This week, we're actually going to be seeing the return of Animaniacs on Hulu. They return November 20th. Interested in seeing how the revival is of that show.
Yep. I got my daughter into the original, so I'm interested to see if she'll watch the newer version. Some of the newer version shows, Transformers, Ninja Turtles. I don't think they're as good as the originals, but that's probably just bias from watching it as a kid and the positive memories I have with that stuff.
Exactly. We
did see this week that WandaVision and other basically no Marvel MCU this year in 2020. Everything got bumped to 2021.
Yeah.
WandaVision did get a release date. I believe it's in January.
Okay.
So hopefully that's not going to get pushed back too much further. But
originally, I think it was supposed to be sometime in November, so not too bad.
And that's going to directly tie in Phase 4 and lead into Phase 5 of Marvel. So the WandaVision will set up Doctor Strange. The new Doctor Strange. So yeah, we'll see there. I did see reports. There's been a bunch of stuff with Marvel this week. Reports that, now this could be just sheer rumors, potentially a Deadpool and Spider-Man collaboration movie.
Interesting. That'd be really good.
That's one.
I mean, that's two different types of franchises. You have more of the mature than the more family-friendly movie tying together. But they are we're like the same universe in the comics. So.
Right. So we'll see what happens there. If you watch The Punisher on Netflix, the main star of that, why am I drawing a name on his blank? Probably because I'm a dumb mark. Josh, I forget his name.
I had watched it, but I don't know his name.
Anyways, the guy that played Punisher, he came out in an article this week and said that he's hopeful that season 3 will get picked up and completed. Whether it's done Disney Plus or Netflix, I don't know that, but that's reportedly out there. So a lot of stuff yet to come and see. Yeah. The big thing, again, superhero-wise, sticking with the theme of comic heroes and movies, Wonder Woman, 1984. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are just saying it's going to go directly to HBO Max.
Okay.
Or be on HBO Max at the same time it's in theaters. I don't know. they're gonna have to do something. They can't continue to push these movies back. You got to have income come in. So why not throw up like they did with Trolls? Mulan. Or put it on subscription-based services that people have. I don't have HBO Max, so I won't be able to watch it. But yeah, we'll see what happens there. So
yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that if you're gonna not release them and you want to start making the money, there's certain movies that I would pay for. We talked about the Bond movie a few weeks ago and how that keeps getting pushed back as well. And the rumor of the past few weeks has been that they're trying to shop it around for like a price tag of like $600 million, and no one's trying to pay that. And I can understand that. It's a lot of money, but they're just trying to get the money that they would normally bring in from the theater. And, if they would release this and pay $20 for the Bond movie, I'd probably rent that one. If they brought Wonder Woman out and wanted to charge, $20, I might pay for that one too. There's certain movies I would, especially the big blockbusters. I would rather see them in the theater. If they're going to do it, I'd rather see them do that than try to make the money up than just give it on HBO Max.
Right.
I'm cool with that Justice League Snyder Cut going on HBO Max, just because I don't think they would make a ton of money in the theater off of that.
Right.
I think that would just be a money grab. An actual movie that was supposed to go into theaters, I don't need just to be put on a platform.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you saw this week, The Rock and his $7 production is now in talks to bring back the Scorpion King.
Yeah, I don't need it. I know.
I'm iffy on it. I like the original Mummy movies.
I do. I like them as well. Scorpion King I thought was good. That to me, that was the movie that kind of transformed The Rock into being who The Rock is now in Hollywood. Like that was the big one. Up until that time, he was doing movies that were like hit or miss. The Tooth Fairy and like stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think Scorpion King is the one where like really catapulted him to being the star that he is in Hollywood. So again, I don't need it. Like we said, what's old is new. So like at some point in time, there's you can't remake everything.
No, you can't.
Like people were talking about remaking Home Alone again, and
I saw that this week too.
The original director was like, "What? You can't put lightning in a bottle twice.
Yeah,
like it's not gonna be as good. So why do it?"
And it looks like, to me, the cast looks like it's going to be like a Disney remake. And I don't know if you've watched some of the Disney remakes that they've done like on the Disney Channel and stuff, but they're geared for that audience. It's not geared for like a family worldwide audience. It's geared for the kids that are going to watch the Disney Channel because they're using Disney Channel people usually, and it's just not the same.
Right.
I'm against Home Alone, but.
I did watch. I was off this week, a couple of days, so I got back into Narcos Mexico.
Okay. I haven't watched any of Narcos yet.
Narcos is so good, so good.
I still need to watch Ozark too.
So I got back into Narcos Mexico. I know it's been out for a while, but I'm back in. I got a couple episodes left on season 2. Yeah. So whatever you're watching to pass the time, feel free shoot us a message. Let us know what you're watching. Maybe we'll catch our eye and we can talk about it here on the show. If you haven't heard anything that we said that we've watched or broken down. And that's all I got for the intro this week. You got anything else?
Yeah, let's move on to Bell to Bell.
All right, enjoy the rest of the show.
All right, wrestling fans, welcome to another edition of Bell to Bell. Steve, we had a busy week in pro wrestling. Where do we begin?
Well, the obvious bombshell that broke yesterday, right before SmackDown, the release of Zelina Vega from
Complete shocker.
Complete shocker. Followed up on the story throughout the night, and it appears she did release a tweet about, I want to say, 10 or 20 minutes before her release became official on WWE sites that she supports unionization.
I saw that.
For wrestlers. So a lot of people were like, oh, she tweeted that out and then got released. Putting like 1 + 1 = 2. But as more details came out throughout the night, it appears that she was either notified or that prior to those tweets going out, and it was I guess more because she stood her ground on the third party programming or third party avenues. Twitch. She started an OnlyFans page.
Yeah, I saw last night she went on to did like a live thing on Twitch. I didn't watch it yet.
She did. She was super emotional on there. At one point, I believe there was over 14,000 people tuned in watching it. So she's a talent. She is definitely a talent. Yeah. She has more in-ring abilities than what WWE showed. She was mainly a manager, so we'll see what the fallout happens. She does fall under a 90-day no compete, so you won't see her on television until at the earliest, I believe it's like February 21st.
Okay.
People are already speculating she's going to go to AEW, and their Revolution pay-per-view is February 27th. So that is automatically the big thing there. An interesting note that ties into her being released. Apparently, her husband Alex Black asked to go back to NXT.
I saw that as well.
And that request was denied. So we'll see what happens here.
That's where my eyes are at now or seeing what goes on with him, because she'll keep herself in the spotlight with Twitch and her OnlyFans, but it'll be interesting to see what happens with Aleister Black. Will they use him on TV, or will they, I don't know when his contract's up, will they just run it out? Or
Yeah, a lot of people hear OnlyFans and automatically think of adult content, but OnlyFans is not just strictly an adult content, third-party paywall subscription-based service. She does a lot of cosplay. She's huge in the cosplay. If you followed her on any of her social medias, you've seen her consistently dressed up, whether it's in Mortal Kombat characters, whatever the case. So, yeah, she'll definitely keep herself busy. She does have a following. A lot of support came out for her in this firing. Maria Kanellis and Mike Bennett were backing her strongly, tagging Andrew Yang and, throwing barbs towards Vince and everything else. A lot of negative pushback aimed at Vince McMahon last night for the firing of her.
The one that caught my eye that sent her a message on Twitter was SAG, Screen Actors Guild. They saw that tweet about her supporting unionization. I think the president of SAG sent her a tweet that said their email address and said, "Hey, shoot me an email." And so that'll be interesting what they do.
Yeah, this might be a shift in professional wrestling that we haven't seen before. Mm-hmm. Jesse Ventura spoke on this. He's done interviews before, and he talked about this whenever he did Howard Stern years ago, and he tried doing a union for wrestlers
30 years ago,
and Hulk Hogan kind of snitched that out, and Vince McMahon put the end to that, and that was kind of the end of the relationship between Jesse and Vince.
That's when he went to WCW.
That's when he went to WCW. So we'll see what comes about it. It'll be interesting to see. I'll be curious. I want to hear what people in the world of wrestling have to say about it. Mm-hmm. So, your Mark Henrys, Tommy Dreamers, Bully Rays on Busted Open, Conan and Disco on Keeping It 100. They do a lot of talk around this. So, yeah, we'll see what the fallout is and go from there. I don't know what happens, but I'm definitely going to be interested to see what will happen. One of the other things that's kind of a branch off of her, Andrade, who has already not been happy. Mm-hmm. Charlotte Flair, who is engaged to Andrade. That'll be the biggest piece of all this to see what happens there.
Yeah, I could see maybe Charlotte keeping him more in line, than the other way around. But I mean,
everything that I've seen in regards to them two and with this situation and being she fully backs him and supports him. So I don't think it's just as clear cut as, I'm Charlotte Flair. Flair is wrestling royalty, WWE royalty. Whether or not they leave, I don't, know any of that. Yeah. But I think it's just interesting to see the dominoes that may fall because of this one firing or one release, quote unquote. They Tony Chimmel also got released this week.
He did, yeah.
Long-time WWE announcer was more in a backstage role, but he got released this week. So,
definitely hasn't been used in a number of years now.
No,
occasional appearance, but
yeah. So that's a little bit of outside the ring stuff that broke this week. So let's get into some in-ring action here and break down what happened. We might as well just stick with WWE.
Yeah. I didn't watch Raw.
Nope, completely skipped Raw. Didn't even, go through the DVR and fast forward through stuff. So if you saw Raw and something caught your eye, let us know. I'm completely disinterested in Raw.
I agree. I did watch about the first hour of SmackDown last night.
So SmackDown last night, completely disappointed in SmackDown last night.
I'll be honest, I fell asleep.
Well, I hate WWE does this all the time. They do it all the time. They do something and make it seem like these are the rules, these are how things are.
Yeah.
Okay? You had a draft.
Mm-hmm.
People went to different brands. They're on different brands for a reason, right? Now, who shows up on SmackDown last night?
Drew McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre. What roster is Drew McIntyre on? Raw. Drew McIntyre wrestled on SmackDown last night. Only because Survivor Series.
And there's no point of it because he's not even officially in a match yet. I could see if he, because this upcoming Monday, they said that it's going to be Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. Winner will go on to face Roman. Why did he come on the week before he wrestles?
McIntyre has to win Monday night. After last night, he was the main storyline throughout the entire episode of SmackDown. He had 4 to 5 segments last night.
It makes a whole lot more sense coming off of the whole Paul Brock thing building up earlier for Mania this year that he goes and now faces his next client. But
here's what I saw, and this is just me speculating and if I had to pencil fantasy booking wise going forward, what I think may happen, which won't because I'm a dumb mark. Seth Rollins is due to leave next month.
that's what I saw.
He's going to take time off, obviously, with him and Becky Lynch having their first child.
So they finished his Ray angle.
Next week, it's him and Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
I brought this up last week on the pod. There's no true challenger for Roman on SmackDown when you look at that roster. Nobody. So if Seth leaves, takes time off, right? We don't know what roster Becky's on.
True.
She was never drafted, so did she just stay on Raw? We have no idea.
Yeah.
Right? And this is WWE, so they'll just write the shit in. Whether or not Drew gets traded to SmackDown or something, but Roman and Drew will be your feud through the Rumble.
Yeah.
Whatever they set up for Mania. But other than that, I don't see anybody else on SmackDown for Roman. Daniel Bryan got written off. Who knows when he's coming back? What's going on with that?
Yeah. No.
There's nobody else that's built up to face Roman, and you go, oh yeah, you would be the number one contender. They have nobody.
The rumor goes around that people think Big E's going to be built up to face Roman at WrestleMania.
They haven't done nothing with him.
Yeah, nothing.
The last 2 weeks, he's been in segments with the Street Profits talking about the Street Profits match with New Day for Survivor Series.
So you have basically got rid of him from New Day to give him the New Day.
But he's a cheerleader. Yeah. You haven't done shit with him. What are you doing? This is so just. It completely turned me off. It made me not want to. And I really enjoyed SmackDown since SummerSlam, pretty much, when Roman came back. I've watched it every Friday, whether it's live or I've watched it on the DVR right after. If I wasn't home, if I was doing stuff in the house and didn't catch it whenever it was on. But last night's show was a shit show, and SmackDown has not had shit shows. It really was. You dragged it down. It felt like it went on forever. Your main star in the show was Drew McIntyre, who's not even on the SmackDown roster.
So right there you have Drew McIntyre being the star. And then when the draft happened, they brought Ray and Buddy and they brought Seth over from Raw and just continued that whole thing.
I'm over
People
that.
didn't care about that storyline on Raw. And then you bring it over to the mainstream show now. And so last night was mostly a Raw-focused show on SmackDown. And people don't want to watch Raw, but now you're forcing it on them on SmackDown. And that's probably exactly what the show sucked last night.
And then the other thing, you had Otis sitting in catering with 3 plates of food, shoveling food into his mouth. And Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode are standing right in front of the table, making jokes about Otis, he's not sitting right there.
Okay.
So then Otis gets mad, flips the table over. They go to commercial break. When they come back, what's on? A match between Dolph and Otis. Come on.
Just remember, be a star.
And you're right back to what? So you're back to, Dolph and Mandy and
yeah.
Come on. That's so it's so stupid. So stupid. The only thing that came out of that which is like a glimmer of hope of something new going forward, was Chad Gable after the match.
Okay, so they're actually doing something with him.
So yeah, he comes up to Otis, has on the Gable gear. You know, he hands Otis an Alpha Academy training card, like training pamphlet.
Okay, I saw him post something about Alpha Academy on Twitter last night. Said,
yes,
okay.
And tells him, you know, you need some alpha in you. But you know, the whole, if you guys aren't aware, him and Jason Jordan, they were American Alpha when they were a tag team.
Such a great tag team.
Such a great tag team.
I was there in Dallas whenever they won the NXT tag titles, and oh my god, what a match!
But I got the Gable that I wanted to see back whenever we did the draft prediction show, and I said no more Shorty G, make him Chad Gable, make him shoot on people, make him be the wrestling machine, like kind of Kurt Angle portrayed in TNA, and have him go out there and do what he does best, and that's shoot, wrestle. Like, so that was a positive from last.
Is Jason Jordan still in the company?
I believe he's a producer still. His neck injury, like his in-ring career is done. Like, I don't see him coming back to be in the ring at all.
So I wonder if they would. And sometimes whenever they have those neck injuries, they don't like them being around the ring at all. But I wonder if they would let him at least be a part of this, maybe manager or something like that.
I don't know. I mean, you used to see him every now and again on Raw, but I believe he's just strictly a producer now, and I don't know if he's on Raw or SmackDown. Yeah. So I wouldn't mind seeing that. But yeah, we'll see where this goes. So, you know, Otis and Gable, they do train together outside of television. They are friends, so that it makes sense to put them two together. I like that. Okay. So we'll see what happens with that. And then the other thing last night that actually just completely WWE shooting themselves in the foot, right? Big debut last night, supposedly. Chelsea Green. Okay. Show her walk in on a backstage segment with Adam Pearce. They make her a surprise last-minute entrance into the triple threat, make it a fatal four-way to join the women's team Survivor Series, who 1 week before Survivor Series and SmackDown's team only has 2 members before last night. Okay. Makes no sense, right? So Chelsea Green comes out, walks down to the ring. Michael Cole goes to Corey Graves. So what do you know about Chelsea Green? And Corey Graves goes, not much.
So just shit on her.
Not much? Just shit on her. And then you try to make it up. Well, I do know she spent some time in Japan and this and that. And the women backstage don't like her that much. So I want to see what that's all about. But you completely shit on her.
Don't talk about her. Not that she had much of an NXT career, but they could have at least talked about it. Her
he
NXT
mentioned
career.
one line about her wrestling Charlotte in NXT, and that was it. Like, completely shit on her. And then she goes out, takes a bump off the rope, and breaks her arm again.
Literally?
Literally broke her arm.
Oh, wow.
So, had no idea if she was going to win that match and be a part of SmackDown. I think she would have, but you don't know. But yeah, so she is out with a broken arm again.
Jeez, that sucks.
Which she broke when her first debut match in NXT, she broke her arm. Okay. So yeah, so it's bad luck, but I mean, you completely shit on her before she even got started.
Yeah. But now, so she's engaged to Zack Ryder.
Correct.
Do you think with him no longer being there, maybe they've soured on her? Or?
No, I don't. Ryder wasn't doing much of it's not like Miro and Lana.
No. And there was no, at least with Miro and Lana, you had that relationship on TV. The casual fan might not even know that she's associated with Zack Ryder.
But it was just, like I said, it was a garbage show. Even NXT this week for me was like, it was bad.
Let's start with the very beginning. So the opening match saw Johnny Gargano defend his NXT North American Championship against, I forget the guy's name already.
Leon Ruff.
Okay.
Leo Ruff. I don't know who he is. From Independence-wise, I have no idea who he is. First time I ever seen him.
WWE Jason texted me saying Junior Cheeseburger because a cheeseburger from Ring of Honor, which I thought was a pretty good comparison.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
To me, this symbolized, 1, 2, 3 Kid, defeating Razor Ramon on Raw years ago.
That shock.
Yeah. But it didn't need to be for the title. Like, that's the part that got me in this match, was why did you give him the title?
So Gargano, if you listen to the promo, he talks about the Sasha Banks curse of winning a title and not being able to defend it. Mm-hmm. Which, looking back, it's 100% true. He hasn't defended a title after he's won it. Yeah. He spins the wheel, So Johnny loves Wills. Now Johnny hates Wills again.
Which I loved.
I mean, the fix was in.
Yeah.
You saw the wheel go back and forth. Wade Barrett does a great job on commentary. But yeah, it comes out. Damian Priest gets involved in shock and awe. We have a new NXT NA title champion, which just get rid of the hashtag NXT TNA title.
Exactly.
Like, come on. It makes no sense.
No. I mean, I get the abbreviation works for it, but I texted you one time. It reminds me whenever ECW came back, and everybody just started calling it WWECW. And it's like, that's exactly what that looks like, is NXT NA.
So yeah, so he wins. He beats Gargano. He's now the NXT North American champion. All right, big deal.
He's a paper champion. It gave you shock for one night, but it's not gonna be a long-term story.
No. Some of the other stuff on NXT Wednesday night, Thatcher and Loomis, I could care less about. Timothy Thatcher does nothing for me. I hate the whole Thatcher's whatever segment that he
Dexter
does.
Loomis does nothing for me.
You had that Io and Shotzi and Candice. This whole thing about the tank, and it's just like I can't get into it.
Yeah,
like
I agree.
Shotzi gave a promo backstage about why the tank is so important to her, and I get it, but at the same time, it does nothing as far as move my needle for storytelling that makes me interested in this feud. Then you had Indy Hartwell come out as the surprise person underneath the Scream mask.
Which did nothing for me.
Did nothing for me. So now you'll see Tony and Shotzi team up against Candice and Indy is where they're going. Again, can care less.
One guy that I really like, and I won't even say the guy at first. I'll say the division that I really like on NXT is the Cruiserweight division. I've consistently enjoyed their matches, the past few months.
Yeah, but what they're telling, the story that they're telling now is like your babyface is beating people up with a nightstick in the parking lot. So how does that work?
That's true.
Like that's what you're going with. The babyface is taking out the heels in order to get a match with the champion.
Okay.
That makes no sense.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say, 2 weeks ago you watched NXT and you said, you felt that it flowed really well. This week I watched it and I enjoyed the first hour. The shock of the first match was cool, made me interested for the first thing. The Cruiserweight match was good and everything. But by the time the first hour was over, I felt the second hour just dragged out.
Like Atlas is, I don't want to say he's careless in the ring, but he's
green.
He has some Shotzi Blackheart in him where he's gonna hurt himself.
Yeah.
He takes
a lot of chances.
He had that Spanish fly where he almost died. Swerve caught him. Last night he goes to do a dive through, or Wednesday night he goes to do a dive through the ropes and catches his feet and completely almost bites it. He barely makes contact with Escobar. Like, even on SmackDown last night, you saw this with Rey Mysterio. I don't know why. I've never seen Rey do this, but like they had a corner spot with a table that almost went really bad on SmackDown. Rollins saved him. I don't know whose fault it was, but that would have ended really badly. Then you had him completely botch the 619. He goes through the ropes, goes to swing, and just falls out of the ropes. Like, if that happened on AEW, people would be losing their mind. Look at AEW, the green wrestlers. Look at these botches. And it's like,
I was just thinking the same thing. It's like, because I think that's the thing that people go, well, WWE's more refined and polished, and AEW's just they constantly screw up botches after botches after botches. And no, I mean, sometimes it depends on the episode too. Like, whenever there's a taped episode, that's production making it look better. If it's live, it is what it is. But, on AEW, they've been live, and I know some of the WWE stuff's been taped the past few months. So it's like you're not going to see all the botches from time to time. Yeah, so the storyline with Atlas and Escobar, I don't get it. It's reverse psychology. Your babyface is beating up your heels. Ciampa gave a good promo last night. His promos have been really good. We'll see where that goes. What he's gonna do about changing the culture in the locker room. We'll see. They did announce this week that Finn Balor's supposed to make an announcement this upcoming week on NXT. Finn Balor's next week. Karrion Kross is supposed to be back. # put the strap on Mac. No. I enjoyed the main event. It was a car crash. Yeah.
It was an absolute car crash. It was full of shenanigans, which is exactly what it needs to be with those four out there.
Yeah.
Like, he's great on the microphone. He's great on commentary. Disco Inferno tweeted out, put the strap on him. He's the best talker in NXT, if not the company. Put it on him.
No, you don't put. He's not the guy you put the title on. I like his promos. I don't mind him right now. I'm gonna get tired of him pretty soon, though.
I love how he just tears down Vic Joseph.
Yes,
that scumbag Vic Joseph, and he called him a Michael Cole Light or Junior Michael Cole over there. Shut your mouth, like that's great. Like
I like how he makes fun of the internet wrestling community. I like that stuff. I don't mind it. It's just after a while, it's just this. To me, it's going to be the same stuff repetitive after a while, and it's just going to get to me. And I'm cool with it now. I would actually like it if he wasn't on every week. Like, even just to start. Like, if, this week he was on, cut a promo, and then next week, the guys actually all fight. Or something like that. Like, and he was only on there on weeks that they didn't fight. I might appreciate that a little bit more.
He's your biggest star right now on the show.
How sad is that?
But it just goes to show you how good he is on the stick. He's the biggest star on the show right now. With everybody out injured right now, you have nobody from Undisputed around. No. Cross is out, Balor's out. So you have no heavyweight title picture at all. McAfee is your draw to the show.
He's not drawing me, but I can understand. But to me, that's just sad that they have to rely on Pat McAfee to bring people in. But I get it. With all the injuries and everything, they're limited on what they can do. But which is the first time NXT's hurt since probably the inception of NXT. That they haven't had the depth to bring up.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. All right, enough of WWE. I'm off now. Let's move on to other wrestling promotions this week. AEW, Dynamite, Fallout from Full Gear. Let's just hop right into the...
Do we want to just talk about, the thing everybody's talking about?
What, Shaq and Cody?
Yeah.
It does nothing for me.
No, it doesn't either. Why did they think to bring this girl in and give her a promo her first night like this?
So, granted, the promo wasn't the best. No. Okay, looks wise, she's a star.
Yeah.
Okay, she did have a tryout with WWE.
Okay.
They did not sign her. A lot of people were saying they dropped the ball with her. Right. She should have been signed to them. So we'll see how it comes out. Was not the best segment. People were super hype over Brandy Rhodes coming out and running her down.
Yeah, that was definitely the highlight out of that segment.
It was good, but. Like, it was so scripted. It didn't come off real and natural, which that type of reaction should be real and natural. Like,
because if it would have been real, they would have brawled. Brandy would have hit her or something. Smacked her or whatever.
I tweeted out, if that's gonna happen, when Brandy's coming out through the tunnel, she needs to be taking the earrings off. She needs to be pulling the heels off. Come out, take her down, and as she's beating her, she needs to be cutting that promo on her. Don't you ever talk about my man like that, you heifer. Like, she needs to be doing that, not just come out, look face to face, and then just go into this promo. Like,
I could have taken the promo, but whenever Jade slapped her on the ass, that should have been, to me, light switch.
The way she ran down Cody in the ring. Granted, it wasn't delivered the best because she's so green, but
you could tell how nervous she was on the mic.
The way she ran him down, like I said, it would have came off better if Brandy comes out, taking the earrings out, taking the heel off, tackling her, beating her, then she delivers the promo while she's beating her.
Yeah. So to me, this match isn't going to be Cody versus Shaq. To me, this match is going to be Shaq and Jade versus Cody and Brandy. That's what I saw out of this. Because Shaq's not going to be able to carry a match. And I don't know if she can even go in the ring, but,
we'll
Brandy's
see.
Brandy's okay in the ring, but...
WWE, for the longest time, has been trying to get Shaq in a match with Big Show.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, the deal never got done. Shaq came out a while ago and called out Cody Rhodes. Mm-hmm. There's interest there, wanted to get it done. They got it done. We'll see what happens from it.
I'm sure TNT got involved somehow with it too.
We'll see. Yeah, he's big. He's big on inside the NBA on TNT, one of their flagship shows. sports wise. So like we'll see. I mean, it's not a paradigm shift in the wrestling business, but we'll see what happens. I'm kind of okay with it because afterwards Cage attacked Cody. We get the tag match next week, Starks and Cage versus Cody and Darby.
Which should be a good tag match.
So
hopefully.
I can see that. So let's feud that out and have Cage and Cody go at it, like I said.
Because I can see this whole Shaq thing not taking place for, but I can see this being long term. I mean, maybe for when the NBA returns and
goes off at Revolution in February.
Yeah, that's what I see.
You have 3 months, so you can get through. You can start Shaq and Cody come the middle of January and do a 3-4 week build to it. You plant the seeds now and then have it trickle on down the road. So
that's my guess.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
The other big thing from the match or from AEW, let's just get into it. I mean, the bunkhouse match.
Yeah.
Absolutely stole the show.
Definitely.
Stole the show. Just AEW is getting a little carried away with having blood too often.
I thought the same thing. It doesn't need to be every week.
Whether or not these were intentional or not, or they decided to do it during the match, it's a bunkhouse match. I get it. Dustin Rhodes has been all over these types of matches. Commentary put that over, so I'm sure he booked a lot of this match. But yeah, Braxton Sutter the blade was just a complete red, invisible man at the end of the match.
Yeah, QT got the guitar shot on his head that gave him the Crimson Mask, and
really well done. Like I enjoyed it. It was really good. That was something that could have been on a pay-per-view.
And I think that's why they did this week, coming off the pay-per-view.
So yeah, kudos to them on that. The other big thing that kind of wasn't really a big thing, but I guess it was depending on if you read spoilers or whatnot, was the return of Pac.
Yeah.
So you saw him come back after 1 week, given a video package. I don't think people expected him back as soon as he was, as far as last week to this week.
I actually expected more video packages.
Yeah. I don't know how they got him into the country. Don't know how any of that worked.
Not going to ask.
Not going to ask. But, yeah, okay, I'm fine with going Pac and Phoenix against Penta and Penta and Eddie. We get Pac this week against the Blade. That'll be a hard-hitting, just intense match. Pac just comes out just full of intensity.
Okay.
Full of intensity. Like, he's a pissed-off little man.
Which he is.
That's his character. So, we'll see there.
The one that I had heard about this match was, and I like your variation better as a tag match, but I heard it could be, Death Triangle versus Eddie and Butcher and Blade. I think if we would see Pac and Phoenix versus Eddie and Penta, that would be better sell to me than. I
don't see it going that way just because of the way, and Eddie's been doing this, planting seeds over the weeks. Penta's my best friend, and Penta's saying Eddie's his best friend, and they both
kicked Ray out of
throwing shade at Phoenix. Then he came out and just kind of subtly kicked him out of the ring, which is so great. Like, those are the little things that Eddie does that, like, people, if you don't pick up on it, you miss it. But those are the little things that he does.
He just kind of like kicked him out.
Yeah, just barely kicked him out. Like, we don't need that dead weight. Like, barely kicked him out.
I loved as soon as he got on the mic too. As soon as he got off commentary and picked up the live house mic, and he started getting after the marks in the crowd. Like, I thought that was great.
Right.
Too.
Yep. So done. The match itself was good.
Oh,
Penta
yeah.
and Phoenix
Nothing wrong with the match.
are amazing. They're both championship material.
Oh, they're two of the best.
Wrong. Yeah. That package pile driver on the ring apron was just sick. Like, just sick.
What did he end up hitting on him at the end? 3 of them? Like 2 on the ring apron, then
he hit one on the ring apron, one outside, and then came back in the ring and hit another one for the finish. So, yeah. I guess, we'll see what happens with Kenny. Who was he talking to on the phone? Where was he catching a flight to? A lot of people were saying Kenta was going to come out as a surprise to step to Moxley. Who knows? I don't know. But, we'll see. AEW, they're starting to plant some seeds and let you know kind of where they're going to go over the next couple months here leading into Revolution.
Was very surprised that they announced Kenny versus Mox on December 2nd.
That's so interesting. I don't know why. We said after the fallout, last week pods after the pay-per-view that it was like, okay, what are you going to do for 3.5 months before Revolution? And we're getting this match December 2nd.
I think that maybe something happens in this match.
Kenny said exactly what I thought Kenny would said in his promo.
About being a solid wrestling match.
Can you beat me in an actual wrestling match? I said that last week. Can he beat him in an actual wrestling match?
And if they would put the title on Kenny, I mean, that's cool. I don't have a problem with that. I expect him to be the next champion. But, do you do that WCW giveaway? Just give it away on TV for free instead of saving it for a pay-per-view down the road.
Anything else from Dynamite that caught your eye that you want to get into?
Nothing from this week, but another match looking forward to. They announced Thunder Rosa versus Serena Deeb this upcoming week.
I was going to bring that up, and the reason why I was going to bring that up, so Thunder Rosa yesterday tweeted out, to the announcement from All Elite Wrestling that she'll face Serena Deeb. She tweeted out, y'all can say whatever you want. The center stage is mine. The NWA title is mine. Serena Deeb, be afraid, very afraid, because you are on my way. Little language barrier there. The thing that caught my eye to this was a little response tweet from Dr. Britt Breaker.
Okay.
DMD. Stop faking your own internet buzz and go back to wrestling exclusively on the internet. You aren't half the star you think you are, and you don't have half the face for TV. I am all for this Britt Baker going after Thunder Rosa.
Yeah. So do they swerve and give Britt the NWA title instead of making her AEW champion first?
I don't know whether or not that's just, Britt keeping things interesting on the internet, getting buzz for us to talk about it, but I am all here for that.
Hey, we've said Britt's been very entertaining. I think the best, it's sad to say, but the best thing for her was to be injured and be on the mic every week.
Right.
Because...
huge character development. She became a star while she was out, which is hard to do. We saw that with Austin in ECW. He was out injured. Promos got him over huge. Only had a couple matches in ECW, then goes to WWE, and obviously goes on to have, become the top star, if not the top star of all time.
And you saw with Austin and even Kurt around 2000, 2001 when they were both hurt.
Right. Angle elevated himself being brand new and green. That really helped Angle get over character-wise. And they both talked about that on Austin's podcast. Yeah. So good for Britt. I love the response. That's great. Yeah. Just a couple things here. MLW announced another match for the restart.
I saw that. Looking forward to that too.
Myron Reed and Brian Pillman Jr.
I don't know Myron Reed, so because I really didn't watch a whole lot of MLW before.
That'll be a really good match. Really good match. So we talked about Jacob Fatu and Harry Smith Jr. You have Myron Reed and Pillman. Hammerstone is going to be back in action. They have a good card getting ready to do this restart, and I think it'll generate a lot of buzz.
Yeah, so that's this upcoming Wednesday night, 7 p.m. before NXT or AEW Dynamite. It's only an hour show. I know it's going to be live on YouTube, and I think on Fubu Sports. So
yeah, you can watch it on YouTube, DAZN, BN Sports, and Fubu Sports. So
I think BN will be. I think they said Saturday night.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah. So you have a couple different ways to watch it. So that's there. Other news from other promotions. We saw the finals for United Wrestling Primetime Live Championship was set. Mike Bennett against Chris Dickinson.
Yeah. Going in, my prediction was Mike Bennett was probably going to win. I'll still stick with that.
I like Dickinson. Bennett and Daivari had a great match.
Okay.
Good solid match from them too. And then we saw new NWA Tag Team Champs crown this week, Tuesday night. You have the former Damian Sandow and Kratos becoming your new NWA Tag Team Champions, beating James Storm and Eli Drake. And I like the swerve with the question mark, making Kratos to be the question mark, even though everybody knows he's not the question mark.
Okay. Yeah, that Primetime Live, they got something going on there. Definitely great idea for them to partner up with the NWA and continue this.
All right. And then New Japan was in the news this week for a couple things that they announced. They have the Super J Cup, which will be on Fight TV. Participants, you have Clark Connors, Chris Bay, ACH, TJP, Ray Horace, Blake Christian, El Phantasmo, and Leo Rush. So
Good card.
Good tournament there for the Super J Cup.
A few people in there that have never been in there before, so that's good to see some fresh talent.
Yep, and then New Japan also introduced the World Tag League 2020 entrants.
Oh, I didn't see that. So.
Yep. So they'll have the 2019 winners in Finjuice, IWGP Tag Champions Dangerous Tekkers, Gorillas of Destiny, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Taya Henry. So that's set up again for New Japan. So they're getting back into things with some tournaments here. We saw the G1 go on in that. So good stuff from them. Impact, I guess the biggest news out of Impact was this coming week will be the final match for the Rascals. They're leaving
that was
Impact.
a surprise.
Rumor has it that the Rascals, Wentz, and Trey Miguel's projected or rumored to be going to AEW, while the other two members of the Rascals are allegedly supposed to be signing with WWE.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens there.
What do you always say about WWE though?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, they don't focus on tag teams, and
if they do sign with WWE, put them in NXT because NXT tag division is really thin.
And even as thin as it is, it's better than the main roster. So,
True.
I mean, it would make more sense for them to either stay in Impact or to go to AEW because I think they would use them better. But Impact's so tag team heavy as it is already, and that's what. Not everybody can go to AEW. It's like their roster is just so heavy. Period. Already, they got so much talent.
I really like Trey Miguel. I like the Rascals too, so we'll see how that all shakes out.
Yeah.
Some other quick hits here. WWE announced their tribute for the troops. December 6th.
Sunday, December
6th. So we'll be on collaboration with Fox. So depending on how the NFL games are scheduled and whatnot, they're going to work around that and see. So tribute for the troops there, their 18th annual tribute for the troops.
Which is good to see that back on TV because last year they didn't air it. They just had a live event.
Right. Other than that, how could I forget? Well, I couldn't forget because it's the worst shit ever. But Talking Shopomania 2 last night, brother.
Did you watch it?
No, I plan on watching it at some point in time over the weekend here. I watched Talking Shopomania 1. Absolutely loved it. I gave my breakdown on here. Gallows and Anderson and the Good Brothers and that they put on what is very interesting take on wrestling. It's a spoof.
Yeah.
It's a spoof of pro wrestling, and
it's supposed to be corny and cheesy. That's the whole point of it.
Right, corny and cheesy. So I'm interested to see what happens on this one. I'm gonna watch it. And
I did see on Twitter that they announced Talking Shopomania 3 during the event. So I mean, this isn't gonna end.
No, it's not. And I mean, they got good response from the first one. People enjoyed it. They got a better understanding on what to do and how to handle things and run it. So, I'm interested to see what surprises they all had for this one and we'll go from there. So, another fun-filled week in professional wrestling.
Yeah. One last thing to talk about. AEW announced this week 3 video games. They announced that they're going to do a console game that will be on next-gen systems and probably previous generation as well. No ETA on it, but I thought the trailer looked decent. At least kept my interest enough that, they're really working at this. They did announce an Elite GM will be a mobile game that's due out sometime in 2021. And then there's going to be a Double or Nothing casino game that's going to come out sometime winter before the end of this year.
Okay. I mean, you only knew it was a matter of time before they got into the gaming world. Yeah. Kenny Omega is huge in that space. Yeah. He's a big name. He's done a lot with the gaming community. Their Fighter Fest, they teamed up with who did they team up with for the Fighter Fest events? CEO. So we'll see. Interesting. Wrestling games have kind of fallen off recently as far as quality, and that could have just been 2K and WWE. They've been pretty shitty. I played the mobile version of the WWE battle cards or whatever it is. I didn't play Battlegrounds.
I have it. I got it when it came out. I honestly played the first 2 weeks and I have not enjoyed it. I really haven't picked it up since then.
All right, well, there you go. So hopefully AEW can corner that market and take some more people away from WWE with that. So
and they said they're trying to make it a fun game, and as long as they do, I think it could be a good time.
Yep. All right, well, that's it for this week, Bell to Bell. Enjoy the rest of the show. Chug, 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 chug. This week's Drink of the Week segment is brought to you by that guy that hits the poker machine at your local dive bar and buys everybody around.
Never happens to me.
Oh, that's great. There's nothing better than getting, a free beer from somebody to just hit on the poker machine at the bar. So
never been at a bar and someone goes, "Next round's on me."
Whether or not it's legal money or not, that's another conversation. But free beer is a free beer, so I'll take a free beer.
Don't ask, don't tell.
Right, absolutely. So this week we're going to be doing another review of Leinenkugels. We did the Snowdrift Vanilla Porter last week, so this week we're going to do Leinenkugels Toasted Bock, which is their new release for this year's limited edition special. 5.1% alcohol content. The label itself is pretty bland. Nice little picture on the front of it, but
very basic. Basically just describes it. It's a toasted Bock.
Yeah, a refreshing take on a traditional Bock beer. So pick up your glasses, take a sip, and we'll see what you think.
Not bad beer.
Not bad. Not bad at all. It's kind of hard to pinpoint an exact flavor profile.
Yeah.
To me, it's just like drinking a regular Bock beer.
Yeah.
I know back in the day, I used to drink Amber Bock.
Okay.
This is, taste-wise, is similar to that. So if you guys used to drink that, this is probably in line with that. To me, it's definitely a fall, early winter beer.
I agree.
It's not in the line of your holiday specials or your Christmas ales. It is exactly what it says. It's a toasted Bock.
Yeah, it's not fall where it has the spices, and it's not a winter warmer with the spice palette of those either. It really, like you said, it's a basic Bock.
Yep.
I think you get a little warmth in the beer from whatever that toasting process is.
You can definitely taste it. It is really good though. It's a smooth beer. Mm. It's not rough to drink. It goes down smooth. It's not bitter or anything like that. It does, like you said, you get the toasted, however they do that in the brewing process, but that toasted flavor is what you get on your palate as you're drinking it.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's really the only thing that's coming through. It's a good beer.
Yep, not one 5.1% alcohol, so a little bit more than your average beer, but not
drink a couple of these in a sitting and it'll get you there, but it's not nothing that's going to make you too crazy for the day.
No, it's not going to turn you into a slop tart by any means, but not a bad addition from Leinenkugels here. Their toasted Bock on a scale of 1 to 5 sumos. What are you going to go with?
I think I'll give it a 3.
I was going to go right with a 3 with you as well.
Yeah.
I bought it to try it because it's new release, so I'm always, Leinenkugels is one brand that I'll go in and buy to give it a taste and see what their new releases are like when they bring something out. Like I said, last week I ran into that with the Snowdrift Porter last year, found that. So good to know here. But a solid 3 sumos on the scale for Leinenkugels Toasted Bock.
Yeah, good to me.
All right, well, it's getting that time of year, folks. On the Drink of the Week segment, we're going to start hitting you with some winter warmers and some holiday cheer beers. So if there's anything out there that you may want us to review, let us know. We already have about 7 or 8 lined up in the stash.
I think we're good for the next 2 months.
Yeah, we're good here. So we got things lined up for you guys, getting ready to get you through the holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas, and into the New Year's party scene. Don't know how much partying will be going on this year, but we'll get you there.
Definitely let us know what you want us to try.
Yep, with your favorite drink. So with that, like we always do at the end of the Drink of the Week segment, we ask that you pick up your red Solo cups, your glasses, your bottles, your cans, your shots, whatever you're drinking with, and to good ships and wood ships and ships that sail the seas. The best ships are friendships, and friends will always be.
Cheers.
Salute. All right, folks, this week in sports, we got a lot to get into. Surprisingly, one big thing came from the world of Major League Baseball, which it's rare that you say a big announcement in Major League Baseball given the lack of interest in the game. But for the first time ever, a woman was announced as the general manager for the Miami Marlins.
Saw that.
Kim, and I don't know how to pronounce her last name.
I don't either.
It's NG, so I'm not going to try to pronounce it.
Yeah.
But yeah, she got announced as the general manager for the Miami Marlins. It is of note to know that the Miami Marlins COO is also a woman, Caroline O'Connor. So their 3 highest ranking officials are 2 women and an ex-shortstop, which is obviously Derek Jeter. So congratulations to her becoming the first woman general manager of a sports franchise. Like we said before, and we've talked about this in the past with a lot of different milestones and barriers being broken for women in 2020 in the sports world. It's long overdue with coaches in the NFL. We saw that. Doris Burke with the NBA with the bubble calling the finals games and the Eastern Conference finals games. So big kudos to women in 2020 for making strides that are long overdue. Again, representation's key. So now,
very true.
A woman can aspire to be the general manager of a Major League Baseball team.
Yeah, Kim's going to be the first, but she's definitely not going to be the last. And I see over the years definitely many more. And
it just piggybacks on Kamala Harris becoming the first woman vice president.
Yep.
Of the United States. So again, representation's key. I'm all for it. Let's see. Let's get over some of these stigmas, and I'm hoping she does a great job, and she can consistently make the Marlins a contender, because then that only bodes well for other women that aspire to get into those positions.
Yeah, and unfortunately, whenever you're the first, all eyes are on you. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we'll see. But happy to announce that. Good for her. All right, let's just jump right into here. COVID is just running rampant through the NFL and college ranks right now.
It's our topic of conversation every week, but I think this week it's more true than anything.
So many games got canceled in college football this week. So many games got canceled. Pitt canceled their game. Ohio State canceled their game. UCLA and I forget who else. I saw this last night, but the 2 teams that they were supposed to play, those games got canceled. However, UCLA and somebody else, they're going to play each other on Sunday.
Okay.
So that they actually get a game in and it doesn't count against them.
Okay.
Don't know the rules behind the Pac-12's issues with rescheduling like that, because in the Big Ten, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
In the Big Ten, you miss a game, you miss a game. That's it. Tough luck. See you later. Bye. You got to have 6 to be able to play in the Big Ten championship, at least 6 games played. So, yeah, that's the big thing to do with Ohio State losing a game this week. They're already down 1, which means they can't have another game canceled, because that will only leave them with 6. And if they have 2 more canceled, they're not eligible for the Big Ten championship. They're not eligible for the Big Ten championship, and they go 5-0, but 3 games or no contest because of COVID. How do you put them into the college football playoff?
Yeah, it's tough.
When they're one of the top 4 teams ranked in the country right now.
Yeah, they don't have that leniency with the policy.
There's no buffer. No buffer at all for the Big Ten. Big Ten was like, oh, hey, we're going to cancel the season. You guys gave backlash. Okay, fine. We'll give you a season. You want a season? 8 weeks straight. No room for bye weeks. Oh, if player tests positive, they're out 21 days. Games are canceled. It goes no contest. You have to play at least 6 to be in the Big Ten championship. Yeah. So that's basically the Big Ten brass saying, you guys forced this. You wanted to play this given all the circumstances. You know what?
Here's our rules, and
here's your rules. You got to follow them. So, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. I have no idea what's going to happen with college football and how it's going to shake out.
It's going to be a very light championship game season. You know, these bowl games are going to be different this year.
Yeah, I mean, LSU, Alabama got canceled. You know, like, these aren't just your, you know, like your MAC schools or your Sun Belt schools. I mean, these are your blue bloods of college football that are missing games due to this. We really don't know how it's going to impact things going forward.
Yeah.
So we'll see. There were some games on last night that I was slipping around in, kind of watching, just to kind of whet my appetite for the weekend in football. You know, today's slate, obviously, of games has changed due to the cancellations. I mean, I guess the biggest game of the day is Wisconsin versus Michigan, but Michigan's not ranked. They've lost, 2 in a row. Wisconsin hasn't played since October 23rd due to COVID. So it's like, it's a mess.
It is.
It is a mess.
You know, we might be, we're not near the end, but, there's hope around the corner, it seems, after the announcement this week of, a possible drug, but, there's still a whole lot of time before that happens, and
nothing's going to get greenlit in time for everybody to get a vaccine and play the rest of the season. Like,
maybe there's some hope for next season.
It's only going to get worse with the weather. I mean, we saw that. NFL Steelers big scare this week with Roethlisberger being put on the COVID list.
So I think I saw yesterday that he's off. Like, he's good to play now.
He's off. If he passes his COVID test today, he's good to play tomorrow, which all indications go that he will play tomorrow. Steelers are going to have a longer walkthrough today to kind of get him, some more time as far as in-game preparation. Obviously, Ben's been in the league forever, so Tomlin hates playing players that don't practice. How much does practice matter? Don't really know. Like, we saw the Titans not be able to practice, but they came out there and beat Buffalo after 2 weeks of not practicing. So that, whatever your opinion and take is on that, it is what it is. But he is expected to play this week. If he were to miss, so what? You give Ben Roethlisberger, who's 37 years old, you give him an extra bye week. They're playing the Bengals this week. But again, you're undefeated. You're trying to get that number 1 seed overall, because the number 1 seed this year is the only seed that gets a bye in the playoffs. They expanded the playoff format, so if you're the Steelers, you had that week 4 bye. You're only 1 game up on the Chiefs right now for that number 1 seed. You have to stay ahead of them because you need that bye week.
Yeah.
That extra bye week coming in is fine, because if not, then you're looking to run to the championship, to the Super Bowl. You're looking at 19 weeks straight of football or 17 weeks straight of football, and that's way too many weeks to be playing straight.
Yeah, it's a long streak, and I agree. They definitely need to work, keep up the work that they've been doing, because they've done a great job this season, and much better than I expected them. I wasn't going to give them the credit for this, and if they keep it up, they definitely deserve that bye week.
Yeah, so we'll see how that all shakes out. The Steelers will play the Bengals. Not much of a rivalry there. I think Steeler fans don't really necessarily hate the Bengals like we hate the Ravens, and we dislike the Browns, because the Browns are, that bully that runs his mouth, but as soon as they get punched in the face, they go and cry to their mother. The Bengals there for a while with Vontaze Burfict and everything, just the dirty, cheap shots and everything else, Pac-Man Jones, like, that was the hatred with the Bengals. It was more because of the dirty hits and whatnot. But, I mean, I don't care about the Bengals. We'll see what Joe Burrow does for the Bengals, playing against that Steelers defense. Rookie quarterback, normally that bodes well for the Steelers. See if they can get to 9-0 here, moving forward. And then I'm excited to watch football because it's football. But at the same time, like, for some reason this season, it's not, I'm not watching it all day like I normally do.
I mean, this really just changed everything. It's with everything. It's changed viewing habits of how you watch stuff. It's changed, your interest in it because, if fans aren't in it, maybe the game doesn't seem as interesting as it used to be. There's so many things that, have changed this year with watching sports and TV in general.
And, like, you would think coming into it, it's like, all right, Sunday, I know I can watch game day in the morning from 9 till kickoff. Mm-hmm. 1 to 4, watch a game. 4 to 7:30, watch a game. 8 to midnight, watch a game. Like, literally all day football. But it hasn't been that way for me. Like, and I don't know why. It could be, like you said, with viewing habits changed and whatnot. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see here what happens. But the more interesting thing is college football and how they're going to handle all this COVID and game cancellations and see if they're going to be able to legitimately pick 4 teams to play in the college football playoff.
If we get there,
if we get there,
that's been my question all week. Is with numbers rising across the country, are we going to see, much like, the NHL did earlier in the year, much like the XFL had to do of, mid-season just shut down, and
the NFL has a little bit of leeway as far as dates go because they do have the rights to book rooms in hotels around Tampa up to 4 weeks after the originally scheduled Super Bowl date.
Okay.
So they could push some things back. They floated out the idea, if games get canceled, of doing an 18 playoff in each conference to get to a Super Bowl champion, to where, like, you would be seeded and, one would play 8, 2, 7, so on and so forth, like, without buys and all that. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see coming down the stretch how everything works out. Still a lot more games left to be played. It's week 10 in the NFL, so you still got 7 more weeks of regular season action, then playoffs. And so, yeah, we're by no means coming down the home stretch of it, but it will be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Yeah. One thing I had for this week, changing course a little bit, did you see the Masters this week? Jon Rahm on his birthday hit a hole-in-one, skimming across the water.
So it was in a practice round. It wasn't in the actual round of the Masters, which has been hurt due to weather delays and whatnot. A lot of people coming into the weekend were tied at the top of the leaderboard. Tiger Woods was -4. Bryson DeChambeau was +1. Was projected to maybe miss the cut. I don't know if he made the cut or not. I didn't see. But, you saw delays in the Thursday morning round 1 because of rain, and that round 2 got suspended due to weather, from the tropical storm that came through Florida. So a lot of golf to be made up over the next 2 days. Yeah. It may move into Monday to actually get the final round in and completed. Yeah, we'll see. That hole-in-one was probably the craziest golf shot I've ever seen.
I don't even know how you practice that.
He skipped it off the lake.
And it kept the momentum.
Off the pond. And it kept the momentum, and it circled. Like, if you guys haven't seen it, it was like the craze going around. I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday. But it was just one of the most insane things you'll see in sports.
If you haven't seen it, you have to pull
it was
that out.
Crazy. The College Game Day was live from the Masters today. Okay. So that was like a fun, interesting thing because obviously college football doesn't go on when the Masters goes on because the Masters is normally in April. So that's interesting. The set looked really good there. I believe they were set up around Hayman's Corner, which I think is hole 16 on the course.
That's a little cross promotion.
Yeah. So something new, because of COVID, they were able to do that, which was interesting. So, that was good. But yeah, we'll see if they get it in before Sunday ends. If not, they'll have to wait till Monday to crown the the green jacket to put that on somebody. I don't, like you said, it's different times, man. Like, who would have thought we'd ever see the Masters being played in November?
Yeah, right.
Like, come on, seriously. So yeah, that's where we're at with things. Anything else in sports that you want to dive into?
No, I think I'm good for those.
All right. Well, that's This Week in Sports. We'll see you guys next week.
All right, boys and girls, I think that's just about going to do it for us this week. The 11th episode is all wrapped up. Thank you for tuning in. You know where you found us this week, but, tell a friend. They can find us on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, radio.com, and basically everywhere podcasts can be found. And make sure you follow us on social media at DumbMarksPod. That's at DumbMarksPod on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And then, as always, shoot us an email if you don't want to follow us on social media. dumbmarkspod@gmail.com. Steve, you got anything else for the week?
No, not really. Well, I mean, I guess a couple of things. One, like Chris said, follow us, subscribe, rate, review, email the show, dumbmarkspod@gmail.com. Questions, comments, concerns, likes, dislikes, anything across the board. We'll be glad to respond and interact with you going forward. Just a couple of things of note, interesting that we didn't touch in bell to bell that I thought. So Kenny Omega got voted into the Wrestling Observer Newsletter Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that completely shocked me whenever I heard that.
Like, why?
Yeah, I don't... especially with his career in America, just really starting... I'm not big on people going into Hall of Fames while they're still active competitors.
So that's the Meltzer bias coming in.
It's gotta be.
Right. He gave the Young Bucks and FTR 5.25 stars.
Did he really?
I think so, yeah.
No.
I think so, yeah. 5.25, yep. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, the match was good. I didn't hate the match, but it wasn't 5.25.
I think he did, yeah. I think I saw the Young Bucks tweet that out.
I mean, I might go back and rewatch that match once, but that's not to me, a 5-star match is a match that I can go over and over and over again and watch. And I don't think that's it.
I would go back and just watch. They did a lot of callbacks to tag teams of the past, more than what you may think when watching it live. So I do want to go back and watch that and see if I can pick up on everything. Somebody tweeted out a list of all the callbacks that they had, which was almost like 10 different tag teams.
I definitely remember seeing the Hart Foundation and LOD.
Steiner's with the Bulldog off the top rope.
Yeah.
There was, I believe, Rock and Roll Express was in there, Midnight Express. Like, they covered a bunch. The Hardys, NWO, Kevin Nash with Matt Jackson did the cigarette out on the back before the power bomb.
I don't think I picked up on that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there was a lot in there. So
I think that their best match is yet to come.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I mean, back to what we originally said. I don't see why you put Omega in the Hall of Fame other than just for clicks. But whatever. Speaking
of the Young Bucks, just real quick, for those that like to read, I'll do another book thing. The Young Bucks book is coming out this week. It's Tuesday the 17th, called Killing the Business from Backyards to Big Leagues. I did order that, so I'll see how that goes. That'll be interesting for two people writing a book, how that reads.
Right, and then another interesting thing from wrestling, Cody Rhodes said he wants to run for senator in Georgia at 40. He's 35 now. Goals and aspirations, I guess, to move into politics. 5 more years left of his wrestling career. Normally, like, you see people in their 40s or like in their prime in pro wrestling. AJ Styles in his 40s now, and he's
still go.
So,
and he talks about being at the end of his career too.
Right. Hey, I mean, if that's what Cody wants to do, like, no knock on him for that. By all means, that's fine. He teased the Cody 2020 while he was in Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
That was the big joke there, but...
Hey, I mean, you see guys like Ric Flair and Undertaker that just can never figure out their exit.
Yeah.
And, at 35 and he's already thinking about his exit. If he follows through, good for him. I'm not going to knock it. I mean, does he have to leave at 40? No. Like you said, he's going to be in the prime of his career. He could probably go to 45 and be fine. And especially seeing how things go in AEW within the next 5 years, could be a factor on if he decides to run or not as well. Being an executive vice president this large of a company, if it continues to grow and expand, maybe he changes his mind. But
Right.
If he plans on doing it, it's definitely not a bad retirement plan.
Yep. Nope. So the grandson of a plumber to U.S. Senator. It's a good come up.
I could already see his opponent going, he called himself the American Nightmare.
Just interesting there.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, other than that, I don't... Oh, The Undertaker, I guess, in the interview said that the Fiend is the only character that he wishes he had a little bit more in the tank for a match.
Yeah.
And said that, Bray Wyatt and the Fiend character is the only strong character that he sees in WWE right now.
He's not really wrong. I don't think that's really a knock towards Roman.
No.
But for a specific character, I would agree with him on that. I mean, we did see Undertaker Bray Wyatt one time.
This is a different Bray, though.
Yeah.
Like, character-wise, presentation-wise, wrestling-wise, it's different. That would be a match that I would get excited for, but knowing where Undertaker's at, like I don't need to see it.
No, yeah, we discussed that last week. Yeah. It's time for him to really ride off.
The documentaries for him on the network have been good.
I haven't watched any of them yet. I
really
need to
good,
do that.
Really good. This Sunday, tomorrow is the Brothers of Destruction with him and Kane, and then I believe they cap it off next week with Broken Skull Sessions, the pod round 2.
That should be good.
Yeah. So
I really wanted to watch Paul Bearer.
Last week was Paul Bearer. So if you haven't watched those, watch those.
Yeah, I looked it up. I think Paul Bearer was like an hour, so definitely something I want to watch.
Yeah. So anything else in sports? Last chance to put out any grievances. Maybe we'll do a Festivus where we air some grievances here coming up on Christmas in a couple of weeks with that. What are some grievances on things we've seen and whatever's
kind of a year in review.
If we were doing that, it'd be a 7-hour podcast. I can't do that.
No, I think I'm good for the week.
Okay. All right. Well, we like to end the show here with a little quote to give you some motivation or some inspiration during the week to keep you going. And this one from this week I saw from Snoop Dogg on Instagram, whether or not it's his quote or not. But It says, "Stop trying to skip the fucking struggle. That's where character is built. Embrace it, learn from it, grow from it. And with that, you can catch us around the way."